All right, so in this lesson, again, we're going to talk about parallel lines and transversals and all the relationships of the angles. Okay, so the first angle we're going to talk about are the corresponding angles. Can anybody mention to me what a corresponding angle is, or which ones of these are corresponding angles?
Corresponding angles are angles in matching positions.
Okay, and can you give me an example of what corresponding examples could be?
3 and 7.
3 and 7, excellent. So if we remember what we did yesterday, is if we took this whole section here and kind of took it apart and kind of pasted it on the top, what would the 5 land on? What would the 7 land on? What would the 8 land on? Okay, so if we kind of look at this, the 5 would land on the 1, the 7 would land on the 3. So the corresponding angles here would be 1 and 5 would be corresponding. 7 and 3 would be corresponding. What else would be corresponding?
2 and 6.
2 and 6 would be corresponding. And then what else would be corresponding?
4 and 8.
4 and 8 would be corresponding. Excellent. And those are our corresponding angles. Alternate interior angles. Okay, what do we think about when we hear the word alternate interior angles? Yes?
It is angles that are inside the two parallel lines that are crossing each other.
Very good. So we have interior and exterior. So if we look at this, this section here could be my exterior, this section here could be my interior, and this section here can be my exterior again. So we have 2 exteriors, and then we'll follow by 1 interior in the middle. All right. So the alternate interior angles. What would be the example of alternate interior angles?
5 and 4.
Excellent. 5 and 4 will be alternate interior angles. They're on alternate sides of the transversal, and they're both interior. What would be the other pair of alternate interior angles? Nice and loud.
3 and 6.
3 and 6, excellent. 3 and 6 will be another example of alternate interior angles. Okay, so if we have alternate interior angles, then let's follow this by alternate exterior angles. What would be examples of alternate exterior angles? So remember, these angles are going to be on the exterior, on alternate sides of the transversal.
2 and 7.
Excellent. 2 and 7 will be an example of alternate exterior angles. What would be another example?
1 and 8.
Excellent. 1 and 8 will be another example of alternate exterior angles. So far, so good? Next one, supplementary. Supplementary is going to come in handy very often, okay? When you see supplementary, okay, look for your straight lines. So here's a straight line. So on this straight line, which 2 angles are supplementary?
You got 1 and 2.
1 and 2 will be supplementary, and what else would be supplementary here?
3 and 4.
3 and 4 will be supplementary to another. If I take this line here and I go look at this straight line now, what 2 angles would be supplementary here?
5 and 6.
5 and 6 would be supplementary, making 180 degrees, and then also 7 and 8 would be supplementary. All right, we could look at that, or we could also look at another straight line. What other straight line can I use? Besides these 2 parallel lines, what other straight line can I use? Okay, it's the vertical. What's this line called? What's this line called?
Transversal.
Very good, transversal. So if I use my transversal as a straight line, then what 2 angles would be supplementary here?
1 and 3.
1 and 3 would be supplementary, and
2 and 4.
2 and 4 would be supplementary. And what about my bottom piece here?
5 and 7.
5 and 7 would be supplementary, and
6 and 8.
6 and 8. Very good. All right, that one's very handy. Okay, using again those supplementary angles. Then we also talked about, we said supplementary, same side interior. Okay, same side interior. Well, just listening to the phrase, right? Same side. They're both going to be on the same side, and they're both going to be interior. What would be an example of same side interior?
3 and 5.
Excellent. They're both on the same side of the transversal, and they're both in the interior of this whole diagram. And what would be another example of same side interior?
4 and 6.
4 and 6. Very good. And then the last one, probably one of the easiest ones, the vertical angles. Okay, which ones pretty much make the X, or if you want to look at them as V's, however you want to look at it. This is a V, both making an X somehow. So what would be vertical angles?
5 and 8.
5 and 8 would be an example of vertical angles.
1 and 4.
1 and 4 would be an example of vertical angles.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. And last but not least, we have 7 and 6. Okay? And our proof or our theorem said corresponding angles are congruent. Congruent meaning what? What does the word congruent mean again?
That they're like the same.
Yeah, they're equal, they're the same. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. Supplementary angles make how many degrees?
180 degrees.
180. Same side interior angles, are they congruent? No. Very good. What do same side interior angles total? What do same side interior angles total?
90.
Close?
360.
Close? 180. Same as supplementary. All right, so if you look at these two angles, here's one angle here, and here's another angle here. Both those angles together would make the 180. So we'll look at that one more time. So looking at this piece here, this angle, and looking at this angle here, both these together, if you pull these out, looking at it this way, take this one out. Do they kind of form a straight line if you see it? Supplementary? Yes, forming my straight line here. Okay, so same side interior angles are a total 180 degrees. Okay, now let's put these into effect. Parallel lines and transversals. Now I'm asking you for the missing angle. I'm giving you that the missing angle for angle 1 is 60 degrees. So this one here is 60 degrees. Supplementary angles could be very helpful. Okay, knowing your supplementary or vertical. So if 1 is 60, what can you tell me about 2, 3, or 4?
3 is 120.
Very good. 3 would be 120. Why?
Because then 2 together equal 180.
Good. These are both supplementary, and 1 and 3 are 180. All right, excellent. Is there any other supplementary angles here?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. So if this is 60, then this has to be 120. And 2 and 3 are what kind of angles? 2 and 3 are what kind of angles?
Vertical.
Vertical angles. The vertical angles are congruent. So if this is 120, this is 120. 1 and 4 are what kind of angles?
Vertical.
Vertical. So if 1 is 60 degrees, then 4 is also 60 degrees. All right. Now let's go back and jump down to the bottom piece. Well, now we have to use something. We can't use vertical angles. We don't have vertical. None of them are supplementary in a sense. They're not right next to each other, not forming a linear pair. So let's use what we know about alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, maybe same side interior. Give me one.
I was going to do same side interior,
Okay?
because if 4 is 60, and then 4 and 6 equal 180, so then 6 has to be 120.
Very good. So we're saying 4 and 6 are same side interior. So 4 and 6, angle 4 and angle 6 must equal 180. So that means this has to be 120 degrees. And as soon as you get one of them, then the rest of them are pretty easy to get as well. Well, if 6 is 120, then 7 has to be what and why?
120.
Why?
Because vertical angles.
It has to be 120 because of vertical angles. Well, if 6 is 120, then 5 has to be
60.
60. Why?
Because 120 and 60 equal 180.
Good. 120 and 60 equals 180, making supplementary angles. And an 80 would then, by also vertical angles, would have to be 60. You could also look at the fact that you have a alternate interior. If this is 60 degrees, then this must be 60 degrees because they're both alternate interior. If this is 60 degrees, then this has to be 60 degrees because 1 and 5 are what kind of angles? Corresponding angles. Okay, so you can use a lot of different facts to figure these out. I feel like the supplementary are usually one of the easiest ones to figure out because everything has to, look for those straight lines, get those 180s in there, and then go from there when you have a diagram like this. Questions so far? Okay, let's take a look at another one. Find x and the missing angle. So a little differently here, okay? So I have two angles here. My question to you is, what's the relationship between these two angles? What's the relationship between these two angles? What kind of angles are these to one another?
They're alternate interior angles.
Alternate interior angles, excellent. So these are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior or alternate exterior angles? They're on the outside. And what do we know about alternate exterior angles? Assuming that they're the transversal and the two lines are parallel. So these two lines are parallel, cut by transversal. That means the alternate exterior angles are what to one another? Congruent. Very good. They're congruent to one another. That means they're equal to one another. So I could say that this angle here, x plus 135, is equal to what?
130.
130. Very good. and then solve for x, minus 135, minus 135 on both sides, x equals negative 5. So remember, your x value can be negative, but your angle cannot. So then if you plug in negative 5 back into this equation here, you'll have negative 5 plus 135, and you should get an answer of 130 degrees, just to check your work. Let's take a look at another one. Question? What if they were not equal? This theorem says if you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, they will be equal. Okay, yes?
What if 1/3 was on the left side of the?
If we swap these two, so if we take 135 on this side and 130 on this side, or we just leave them?
I mean, like, if 1/3 was still there, would it be?
Then we couldn't use that fact. Okay, we have to look for something. There'd have to be something other information. If this was here, then we could say, okay, these are also equal because of what?
They're on opposite.
They're on opposite sides, but because of what? Because they're corresponding. Okay, so then one x plus 135 and 130 would be corresponding to one another. Yep.
Could you figure out, like, you put the x plus 35 over from 130's corresponding angle, could you figure out that, like, since it's a supplementary line, that the other side could be 50, so then you could do x plus 135?
Excellent.
50?
These two are supplementary, so that means this would have to be 50, and then I could say 50 should equal x plus 135. Excellent job. So always using something supplementary, complementary, whatever you got to use to get these answers. Nice job. Okay. Find x and the missing angles here. Again, always ask yourself, what kind of relationship? Do I have a relationship here? What kind of relationship do I have?
Same side interior.
Same side interior. So I'm going to abbreviate. Same side interiors. And what do I know about same side interior angles? What do I know about same side interior angles?
They are. No, they're not.
They're not congruent, but they total what? 180. Very good. So 11x minus 7 plus 7x minus 11 should equal 180. So this angle here and this angle here, these same side interior angles should be a total of 180 degrees, or being supplementary.
Never.
Okay. So if I combine my like terms, 11x and 7x, I get an answer of 18x. Very good. I got negative 7 and negative 11. I get an answer of negative 18 equals 180. I have a two-step equation. 18x minus 18 equals 180. I'm going to
Add 18
add 18 to
to both sides.
both sides. Very good. So here I have 18x equals 180 plus 18. I get 198. 18x equals 198. Divide both sides by 18. And if somebody did the math here for me, 198 divided by 18, you got an answer of 11. So x equals 11. Did I find the missing angles yet? No. Okay, so be careful. So go back in and plug in for the missing angle. So this angle here would be 7 times 11 minus 11. So I have 77 minus 11, and I get an answer of 66. If this is 66, then you could either also plug back into x here, or you could say, okay, well, 180 minus 66, and you could get your answer here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to plug in. So 11 times 11 minus 7. 11 times 11, I get an answer of 121 minus 7, and I get an answer of
144.
1 what? 114. Very good. So 114 degrees, 116 degrees. I'm sorry, 66 degrees, and you could just check. Make sure these two angles, 114 and 66, total 180. All right. So our next example. What's the relationship between these two angles? What's the relationship here?
The vertical.
Vertical angles. And what do we know about vertical angles? Are vertical angles what? What do we know about vertical angles? Assuming they have parallel lines and being cut by a transversal, these vertical angles are congruent. Very good. So here I could just say that 9x plus 8, this angle here is going to be equal to negative 8 plus 11x. Alright, solving for x in this case. Doesn't matter which side you put for x. I'm going to bring the x over to the right side, so minus 9x minus 9x. So I'm going to be left with 8 equals negative 8 plus 2. Add my 8 plus 2x, excuse me. Add my 8 to both sides. So I'm going to have 16 equals 2x. And in my last step, divide both sides by 2. And I get x equals 8. You can go back, plug in 9 times 8 plus 8. So 72 plus 8. And I get an answer of 80. So if this is 80 degrees, and we said my vertical angles are congruent, so then this one has to be 80 degrees as well. Okay, and again, I used the fact that these two angles were vertical angles. If they're vertical angles, then they must be congruent. So I was able to just set each angle equal to each other, or each equation equal to each other, solve for x, go back in, solve for the angle. Okay, next one. Again, I have two parallel lines cut by a transversal. What is the relationship between these two angles? What's the relationship between these two angles?
They're corresponding.
Very good, they're both corresponding, and if these two angles are corresponding, then what does that tell me about these two angles?
That they're congruent.
That they're congruent, very good. So then I could just say, okay, 5x equals 12 plus 4x. Solve for x. I'm going to bring my 4 over, so minus 4x. I get x equals 12, or 1x equals 12. I'm done. And just go back and plug in. So 12 plus 4 times 12. So 12 plus 48, and 12 plus 48, and I get an angle of 60 degrees. So if this is 60, then this one must be 60 as well. And again, I could verify by saying, okay, well, if I plug in for x, this is 5 times 12. 5 times 12 is 60.